the audition like for Terminator 2? What did that involve? Terminator 2. What was the audition like?
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. I mean, it was life changing. I'd never went up for a movie at all, so I had no idea what I was doing. Mally Finn, you know, bless her heart, she's an amazing was an amazing casting director, and she kind of guided me through it, and it was just a long process, man. It was like, you know, I have the part, I'm getting rid of all the list. It just kind of, you know, went back and forth, and then before I knew it, I was making movies, man.
How long did it take before you knew when you auditioned?
Oh, how long did it take? I have no idea. I can't remember.
No, I mean between when you auditioned and when you got it.
When I got it, I would say it was at least like it happened over the summer, because I remember that I wasn't in school, and I pretty much spent the summer doing that. And then I went back to school for like one day, literally just to tell everybody that I was doing. And I mean, I like went to, I lived in the ghetto, so it was hilarious. I went back and I'm like, I'm doing a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's like, okay, Eddie. That was that. It was cool, man. And I never showed up again.
This next question's for you, Michael. So about a decade ago, you got behind the camera and started directing. Is there any particular director that you previously worked with as an actor that you could say was an influence with the way you direct?
You know, when I directed that, I had a lot of people, including Jim Cameron at one time, who said, you got some, you know, good ideas. What's the story you might think about directing? That movie that I did, The Victim, I had, the moment that I knew that I had the money, because of the way that it was financed, $200,000, maybe less, I had 24 days to write it. I had 24 days to write it and shoot it. Okay? So, you know, I had done the Robert Rodriguez movie Grindhouse, and so I was kind of like, okay, well, I want to do a little exploitation movie, sex, drugs, dirty cops, but it was like, the timing and the way that I got the money was like, you have to start now. Like, I don't have a script. Well, you got to start now anyway. So I started writing, and so, you know, I was just like hanging on by the seat of my pants. I should have had 2 cameras. I should have done a lot of things, but you know, that's how it turned out. So to say that anybody had an influence on me, I don't. You know, I've never had a visual, and there are a lot of actors. And I've always asked myself, how come you've been on so many sets? How come you don't know what this lens is? How come you don't know, you know, all of this information that a lot of directors know, a lot of camera people know? And yet, I finally have realized that I was so interested in what I was doing and walking around, and shit was going through my head just over and over and over, and like, okay, and trying to make changes. So I never focused on anything other than my characters. And that's why, and then after I did The Victim, I was like, okay, we're done with this. Like, you know, this is not me. And it's hard. It's much harder work than acting too.
This question's for you, Lance. You started out as an artist before you got into acting. Do you ever still revisit any of your artwork? You ever do much artwork? No. Okay. Grab your mic. Let's get questions from the audience. Raise your hand. Let's make this action happen.
We're on an express elevator to hell, going down. I have a question for you guys. Is there any crazy Jim Cameron stories you guys have from set?
I think they're discussing.
I guess mine, it would be just one thing that cracks me up a lot is I just remember, and I barely remember a lot of shooting that movie. And I mean, Jim Cameron's amazing. I mean, I love working with him, but I just remember I was up on the wires. It's a scene where Arnold's supposed to pick me up, and I was just kind of playing around, and sort of like, you know, lifting the wires up, like around. And I remember Jim walked on set. I was like, Jim, look, I can fly. And he's like, yeah, you look like a retarded parakeet. That was funny. So,
Such a warm, fuzzy guy.
yeah, dude, no, but he was the best. I loved working with Jim. Like, he really was. He was so good with me when I look back. I was spoiled, man. That was my first director. So, after that experience, like, it's not the same, you know.
Oh, he'll repeat the question.
Any crazy Jim Cameron stories from set?
All right, well, use the microphone and let us know.
You're a toughie. Anyway, Jim said to me at one point, go in to Hemdale, who was the guy that was going to put up the movie money, you know. And he said, show him what Terminator would be like, could be like. And I went, all right, I'm not afraid of him. I don't know who he is. So anyway, I put a big scar on my face and tin foil on my teeth, and you know, I was wearing like punker clothes, and dirty, a little dirty. And I went in and in the foyer when you walk into Hemdale, there's a secretary saying, "Can I help you?" She saw me and then, why is it doing that?
Doing what?
Anyway, never mind. So I walk in, and she grabs her typewriter, and it falls in her lap. It was like one of those moments. And then Hemdale came out, and I backed him into his office. And this is a true story. John Dale. And he was a boxer. He was a tough guy.
John Daly's interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, I sat down on his chair in his office and just gave him the hairy eyeball for like 5 minutes. And then I realized I got to get out of here. This is not going anywhere. So then I found out he was a champion boxer. And I thought, oh shit, that could have gone south. I wasn't in there to threaten him. I was in there to make him feel, you know. And then Jim came in and had his meeting. I left. He came in. And he said, who do you want to play the Terminator? And Jim said, Lance. And the guy, and Hemdale said, anybody. And I thought, good, thank you. I wasn't ready to play Terminator. I wanted to play somebody, not Terminator. But he asked me to do it, so I did it. As lesbians, that's the way we are.
You know, when I was originally cast in that role, Arnold's option got picked up to do Conan, Barbarian 2. So I got to spend 3 months with Jim and got to know him very well. And I got to see a lot of his drawings, and I got to understand very quickly how talented he was. But, you know, I don't know if you got this. I'm sure there were a number of them. There are a number of the, just say, hey, Michael, use the microphone. You don't have to like be so, just use the microphone. You know, but I remember seeing Lance as the Terminator. It was all over his offices. You know, Jim had this guy in mind to play the Terminator. And obviously Hemdale or whoever, you know, they needed some big-ish name. And at the time, I think O.J. Simpson's name was batted around, and kind of ironic, isn't it? As things worked out, he might have been a pretty good Terminator. Sorry to whoever. so many stories about Jim Cameron, but I think he's getting enough press right now. He's got Avatar coming out in about a week, and that should be very interesting. Who's going to run out and see Avatar in a movie theater? Wow, pretty good, pretty good. That's good to see. All right, I'm done.
All right, next question, right down the middle.
Hi, I'm sorry, this isn't a Terminator question, so I apologize in advance. This is for Edward, or Eddie, who you prefer. I'm a huge John Waters fan, and I wanted to hear what your favorite experience working on Pecker was.
Just working with John Waters in general. Yeah, you know what? It's weird. Like I knew John Waters. But I didn't really do the whole female trouble and all that stuff. As time went on and I got to know him better, I became more and more of a fan. And it's amazing. You know what? And he works with the same people, so in a weird way, it kind of runs almost like a TV show or something. It's like a real machine. It goes really quick, and he knows. And he's like Jim Cameron's. It's like knows exactly what he wants, kind of thing. That's how John Waters is too. He's really very strict and stays close to the script, and no, but yeah. Honestly, I like it when a director's like that, because when they don't know what they're doing, it kind of. But yeah.
Your question right behind it.
Yeah, this is for Johnny Ringo. I watched Tombstone a couple times, and you outdrew Doc. You had your gun out first. Are you faster than Val?
Are you asking if Michael Biehn is faster than or is Johnny Ringo faster than? Obviously, Johnny Ringo wasn't faster than Doc Holliday in that movie, which was, had nothing to do with the facts of what happened in Judson. Johnny Ringo had nothing to do. Johnny Ringo committed suicide. I could do 2 hours on this whole thing. I start getting into the history and how I grew up thinking Wyatt Earp was a hero. History's catching up to that asshole. I'm sorry if there's any children in the audience, but still have strong feelings about it. There was no quick draw stuff doing. I had to learn to just spin my gun, and most men, when they're on a Western, we've all done Westerns. Thank you. But everybody likes to have fun if they're with it, so I just happen to be able to showcase that routine that I did. It was a little people say, oh, was that you? Could you do that? Yeah, 1 out of every 10 tries. It's kind of like a gymnastics routine, landing, 1 out of every 10 tries. But there's a lot of good stuff involved there. Anyhow, it's all fun. Business is fun.
There's a
Life
big
is
element.
fun.
There's
How
a
much
big
better
element
does it
in
get?
here, and that is that we all, Billy Paxton, him, we all did movies with Jim at one time or another, because he liked us all and was just looking for a spot, you know what I mean, that you're more right for or whatever. But those were the good old days. And now he's got that other guy in every movie he does. I don't know his name. No.
Up to the next question, right back here.
All right, welcome to the Comic-Con, guys. Merry Christmas. Great to have you with us again, Edward. So my question for all 3 of you is, what were some of the challenges you both faced and your favorite scenes that you shot with James Cameron on the Aliens and Terminator movies?
The first one I did was one about piranha down in Jamaica. That was one. That's Jim, director. His first. And, yeah.
Just curious. I'm curious. Like,
Well, no, Jim was very focused. I mean, he's when he's going to work making a movie, he's going to focus it. He's going to focus every day because you have no budget. You don't get 2 tries. You got 1. I remember I got down to Jamaica and I had called them and said, I have to drive a boat because I'm a harbor cop. And they had no wardrobe, so I had to buy the clothes off a waiter, you know, with my own money. And it was a blue lapel, this stripes down my leg. That was fun. And I had to carve my gun because nobody coming into Jamaica can have a gun. So I carved it out of wood and put it in a little suit. And then it came the moment for the boat, where I have to whip into the harbor. And it was a powerful boat. And I wanted to get down there early to learn how to drive it. Well, I ended up putting it up on the pier. And the guy who owned it, he goes, oh my. He was like pissed off. And I said, you gotta deal with Jim, not me. You made me do it. Anyway.
Was Gail hurt? Was she involved in that? No.
Not yet. No, not yet. And then
How long did you work on that movie?
A month.
A month?
A month.
And how long was Jim down there?
well, he got fired the minute he finished the movie. They fired him, which was the habit of the Italian producer. And his thing was, now I'll take it back to Italy and make it like my movie. You know, I'll edit it and everything else. Well, Warner Brothers saw it, and they went, we're not releasing that. It's crap, man. The way that guy edited it. And Jim kept sneaking in Rome. He went to Rome, and he kept sneaking in and doing re-edits. That's how tenacious he is. But anyway, after a while, they pulled the movie from the Italian. Jim got a shot at doing it, and they released it. Yeah.
You know, the idea what Lance is talking about is being an editor, and you're sitting, of course, they used to do film back there, but you know, it takes you a long time to look at what you're looking at, edit a little piece together, and this and that, spend like 10 hours editing the movie together, and then go home, and then Jim would show up at night, and like re-edit, go into their equipment, break into the thing, and re-edit what they had done. They'd show up the next morning, and be, I guess okay, we did that yesterday.
It's a lot better than I thought it was.
That's amazing. So he was always that intense. He was always that intense.
I've heard that story many times. Probably from you when I first met you, you know.
He would break in with his credit.
We had it like night after night after night. These editors would show up going like, what's going on? Because the thing about Jim is he can do anybody's job, including being an editor, except for he can't be an editor. Oh, I know.
He had me jump out of a helicopter, and the night before I jumped out of the helicopter in the morning, it was from about 60 feet, 50 feet, somewhere in there. I had punched a palm tree.
Why?
I can't go into that. But anyway, I punched it so hard, I think I broke it. And then the next morning, I got up to jump out of the helicopter. I jumped out, and then I hit my hand with my knee. And man, I went squealed. It hurt like a son of a... He's a great believer. Let's do it. Let's risk. Let's do something. And anyway, the local drug guys, the cops had chased the drug guys in Jamaica. I'm not into that voice. I don't know the dialogue or the language of it. Anyway, we're in the helicopter, and I'm getting ready to jump out, and you can't yawn. It shuts me down completely. Anyway, we're in it. Would you like some water? Anyway, so we're up in the helicopter getting ready for me to jump out. Jim's on the pier with a camera at the end of a pier, so it looks like the ocean. And so the camera falls into the water, so that stops that shot. Then I jump out, even though they said, no, not yet, because we got to get the camera back. So then all of these things happen, and we almost run into the mast of a sailing boat that was coming in all the time we were setting it up. I know, it's not a lie. There's not a lie in what I'm saying.
I'd still like to know why you hit the tree.
It's all true. Then we went down to a real mortuary where when people die, they drop them off at this place. You know, and chickens were eating the bandages out of the dumpster. I mean, it was a real rough. There was nothing wonderful about it. It was like difficult, the whole thing. But that's Jim, and if you go to war, you better be ready to fight. And that's Jim.
All right, so we have one more question.
I have a
over
question
here.
on the far side of the room.
The best question gets a $20 bill.
Well,
Wow.
here it comes.
Hi, Mr. Henriksen. I've been looking forward to meeting you for a very long time, and Merry Christmas. My question is, one of the most surprising moments to me of your character Bishop was in Alien 3, because he turned into an antagonist instead of the protagonist that he was in the sequel to Alien.
Go ahead.
And so what I was wondering was, would you want to return if there's ever a call for you to go do Alien 5 as human evil Bishop? Or
It
would you...
depends on the money. Antagonist, protagonist, I have a little of both in me normally. That's my life. I have those available to me. It's a good question, you know. I'm not making it light.
All right, got time for a couple more? What else we got? Right here? Let's knock it out.
For Edward, I wanted to know how you like working on brain scan.
Dude, well, okay, like, honestly, I would have had a lot more fun doing it now than I did then. I mean, honestly, like, I kind of was like, what the hell is this movie? And it's called Brain Scan, like, literally, but, no, I mean, it's crazy how much of a kind of cult classic it's become. And, other than that, I mean, look, like, I was 16 when I did that movie. I'm 45 now. So there's been a lot of, like, a lot of things I put into my body and stuff like that. The memory's just not what it used to be. But, yeah, I mean, it was good. You know, T. Ryder Smith, the guy who played the trickster, he was cool. He was, like, really cool, man. He's like a theater actor. You know, it was great.
Okay, let's get a couple more questions. We had one right here.
Oh, those your ears? Oh, just asking. Oh,
there you go.
Hey, did you guys realize when you guys were making these movies that how iconic they were going to be? Like 50 years from now, these movies are going to be, they're still going to be amazing.
obviously don't call it film anymore, it's just content. You always have, you know, you usually don't sign up unless you're really desperate for money, they need money badly, unless you kind of hope the material that you're working on is could be good, and usually you're disappointed. Almost always you're disappointed. None of us, and nobody, even when the Terminator came out, you know, really smart people are running studios and stuff. They knew what Jim's talent was, but you know, nothing becomes a classic immediately. It's just like, you know, Arnold didn't become a movie star, you know, a year later. Everything takes a little bit of time, and you're talking about Tombstone. Somebody asked me about Tombstone. It came out, bad reviews, no money, didn't make any money at the box office. 40 years later, 30 years later, whatever it is. Well, that's the best Western ever. Did you see Unforgiven? But people say that to me all the time, so I certainly didn't think so. Now, he probably had a better, although he hadn't acted before, so I don't know what your experience was, but T2, I mean, when we were doing Aliens, we were hopeful. Man,
We were trying to find it. Yeah, we were trying to find it.
You know.
And we did. I think a lot of the things that Jim set up was without talking about it. But he knew that there's a bonding that's going to happen. If you got all these guys that are playing Marines, I mean, their job is to bond, and they did. Everybody did. Jeanette Goldstein and all these Mark Rolson, all these guys. Really.
I gotta say, when I met Jeanette on T2, I was blown away. Like, I couldn't believe that she was that skills.
She was pumping iron, man. She was, yeah. She's ready to kick any guy's
She's
ass.
like this really sweet lady. She's very, you know, yeah.
Let's knock out a few more. You guys are going to be headed back to your table to sign and photo ops and all that stuff. But let's get a few more questions in.
No, we don't have to.
You're a tough one.
No shit.
Next question, right?
The magic of acting, I think, comes from where you started from as a kid. You can be a great-looking kid, you can be a nasty kid, or all of those things that we are as humans are available. They're available. If I wanted to make a movie, I could probably pick people out of here. You know, I mean, I went to 3 years of grammar school, so I couldn't read. I learned to read.